Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Building a Nation with Team Canada. And today we have for you the beginning of the 2023 campaign, the preseason spectacular, if you will. Now, we got a lot to go over today, so let's get started. Let's start with, of course, the national team, Team Canada. Now, I'm going to be honest with you and say there's not a lot going on with the national team right now. We're still a little bit hungover from the World Cup, and it only happened a couple of months ago because it was such a late World Cup. I don't think it's ever been played so late in the year. It started in November or whatever. But anyway, it's only been a few months. We're still sort of, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about the World Cup still, even at this point. It's like we made it there. That was a great achievement. We won a game very impressively, but then, the group draw was just too difficult. Two of the best teams in the world in the same group as us, and, both of them made it very far in the competition. England even made it to the World Cup final before losing to Brazil. So it's hard to say what I feel about it, other than to say I wanted to do better. I wanted to get out of the group stage, and I don't care how difficult the task was. I just wanted to do it. So we didn't get there, and so it's a bit of a disappointment. But anyway, this year, we can take stock. We can look at a lot of different players and get ready to ramp up for another World Cup run. So we still have Zebu Jr., of course, as the head coach. My contract currently is sort of undefined. I'm not exactly sure how long I've got on my contract. If you look at View Staff, my contract expires, ? Never, I guess. So we'll see if I get a new contract offer, or if as long as they don't fire me, maybe. Oh, there we go. Expires 12/31/2024. So next year, that's an awkward year for that to expire. So we need to have a good year next year, so that they rehire us and let us play in the World Cup. So I guess next year is going to be our big focus, because there's not really a lot going on this year, as I mentioned. So we'll switch over to Vancouver and take a look at our feeder team. Now, last year was an up and down season for Vancouver. Finished, sort of middling, got to the playoffs, lost first round, so we didn't really accomplish anything. Didn't win the Canadian Championship, didn't win Supporters' Shield or MLS Cup or anything, didn't play in the Champions League, so it was kind of a lost year for Vancouver as we poured all of our focus into the national team. So now we got to ramp things back up and get back into pushing Vancouver to greater heights. So that's what we're going to look to do this year and next year, is push Vancouver and try to get them back winning. We need them in the Champions League because we got a lot of young players that need more game time. So speaking of young players, of course, we always start right here in the academy. And I'm going to say this is our weakest academy class we've ever had. This year's incoming class is not great. As you can see, the starting ability is very low, 1 star. Our best guy's 1.5 star. And the potential is only 3.5 stars, maybe 4 stars, but nobody has 4.5 or 5-star potential. So that's not good for this incoming class. So our best guy, Admir Dujmovic, perhaps. I don't know. Admir, we'll call him that. Defensive midfielder. Okay, I guess. Decent physicals. Okay, mentals. He's got nice leadership. His determination is way too low. His technicals are not great. They're sort of very average. Yeah, he's a 1.5-star player. What can you say? There's not much you can say about this guy. He also doesn't have great determination, so we're not too high on this kid. Pablo Camilo, 15 years old, Brazilian. Not really what we're looking for. 5'5", physicals are way too low. He's got good determination, but I don't expect anything at all out of that guy. George Carmona, goalkeeper. We're flush with young goalkeepers right now, and he's just not up to standard, so I don't figure anything from him. And then another fullback, Bob McKendry, 15 years old. 4 jumping reach. His technicals are super low. 1-star kid. Not a lot of expectation here either. He does have 3 solid stars of potential, so he could potentially be an MLS caliber type dude, but as it says, he's way off first team level. He's way off any team level right now. So he's got a lot of work to do as a 15-year-old. That doesn't mean we don't have anybody in the academy. We still got a couple of guys hanging around in the academy who are pretty good, 4-star potential guys. 2 strikers, Bob Thompson and James Sajan. Good old Bob here, striker, could play left wing, could play right wing. Decent physicals, decent mentals, pretty good technicals. He just needs to get a lot better. He does have 12 determination, which is okay. And right now he's our top prospect, so can't really say too many bad things about him. Sajan, James Sajan, striker, more likely a midfielder, but he's got excellent pace and acceleration, some flair. His problem is determination, only 4 determination. Halfway decent technicals. He could use some improvement there, but, what are you going to say? So our academy is getting thinned out a little bit. Oh, we do also had David Marples, 17-year-old. We're going to have to keep an eye on here. So, yeah, this guy is probably our top prospect. 17 years old, 14 tackling, 12 marking. Yeah, he's our top prospect for sure. Defensive midfielder, which we could use a little depth there. He does only have 3.5-star potentials, but he's not far off MLS quality right now looking at this guy. So he'll be signed up at the end of this season, I'm sure. We'll sign him up to Vancouver and see what we can get out of him. So, we got academy problems for the first time in this series. Our academy's looking a bit threadbare. Finances, of course, are fine. $36 million, no problems there. $5 million in transfer budgets. I haven't showed you these screens because they're not really that important. You can look at them for your own satisfaction if you'd like. TV revenue from Major League Soccer. Hooray. $2 million, $5 million last month, $8 million this season. So we're going to, that's season ticket sales. Anyway, we got lots of money. We got no problems. Expenditures, no problems. Salary, I guess. First team salaries, $3 million. That's not bad at all. Here's something to look at. Debts and loan. Yeah, so we got $350 million in debt somewhere, somehow. That sort of came out of nowhere. And it seems that some fool has convinced the board to buy the stadium. And, who knew that a 55,000-seat dome stadium in Vancouver, Canada would cost a lot of money? How about $231 million to buy the dome, and then we're going to add on to that $159 million in interest, which somehow adds up to $350 million in debt. I don't know. They must have taken away some of our assets there to give that the net debt. But anyway, we're going to be paying $1.3 million a year for the next 25 years. The debt started in 2022. So it's basically the same as if we'd been renting it. That's pretty much what we were paying per year for rent. So all we did was garner all this amazing, amazing debt. So I think that was possibly a miscalculation on my part. But anyway, it shouldn't have much effect on the team. Let's hope. So, moving on. Board, we're secure. They're not blaming us, thankfully, for that move. The one thing that could happen, I think 2 things could happen. First, the board could look for a bailout and get some rich guy in here who just kicks us out. Or, with that high of debt, the club could be completely unattractive to any kind of investor. So that could keep the board here for eternity, which would be good for us, I think. Anyway, we're secure with the board no matter what. We haven't made any more boneheaded requests, so we'll sort of leave that. Well, we did make one boneheaded request. We'll get to that in a minute. I guess we'll get to it now. Club. So here's our club, looking good. State-of-the-art training facilities. How about that? 3-star regional reputation. Finances are still secure at 4 stars, so that's pretty good. Great youth facilities. Maybe it's time to improve the youth facilities. Possibly. But what we did ask the board is another affiliate. I was unhappy with Miami FC, so I asked for another affiliate. And again, they came back with nothing but American teams. So what I found out I should have done is I should have asked for a foreign, as weird as this sounds, I should have asked for a foreign affiliate club, and then perhaps they would have come at us with some Canadian teams, because technically we're a USA team, because we're an MLS. You know that by now. But anyway, I went out, got another affiliate club, and we got Phoenix. How about that? The Phoenix Rising FC. This is a team that is, as their name states, they are on the rise in U.S. soccer. They're building a nice new stadium. They've got their eyes on an MLS bid coming up at some point. You know, whether that's a reality or not, I don't know. But I do know they have that sort of ambition. They want to be a top-flight club, and, they're making moves in that general direction. So we decided to pick them up. They've only got adequate training facilities in FM. Maybe they'll get some better training facilities in FM20. But for now, they're pretty good. Okay finances, good regional reputation. But one of the reasons I wanted them is that I looked at their squad, and I saw their squad had a lot of holes and a lot of potential for us to loan guys out. So as you can see here, they've got 4 loanees in their lineup, including a couple of our guys. James Haywood is in there at midfield, 20-year-old Canadian, needs some game time, so there we go. Mark Collin, left winger, another guy who needs some game time, needs to start. He's 21 years old now. He needs to play. We got John Trevez from Columbus and Pedro Pavlov from Cincinnati. So they've taken in quite a few loans. They want to be a top-flight team, so they'll be more than happy to take in and play MLS talent. So that's kind of why I wanted them in the first place, because we're getting no such help from Miami. Miami just has so many players on their roster that it's ridiculous. The big thing that we always want to watch, what you always want to look at, is the transfers in the offseason. And again, I have to be honest with you, I don't know what comes over me in the offseason. I sort of black out and just start selling people. I go crazy when it comes to transfers. Like, a lot of people go crazy buying. I go crazy selling. And if anybody comes in for one of my guys, I will most likely sell them off. I'm terrible like that. So let's get to our transfer history. And, not a lot of sales going on here. We waived a couple of guys. We waived Jack Chesser and Kunla Dadaluk, a couple of youngsters who weren't playing all that much. Chesser, the Scottish player, his potential dropped to 3 stars, so it's like we don't need a 3-star guy who's Scottish. And maybe he'll play for Team Canada, but by the time it comes around, he won't be good enough. So see you later. Dadaluk, same situation, just sort of a 3-star guy, potential-wise, so no need for him. Get out of here. Sent Godinho out on loan. Sent some of our young goalkeepers out on loan. Montgomery, sent him out on loan. We made a couple of sales. Craig Smith, the young striker we bought in last year because he had a lot of potential, a lot of talent, sent him out to Sweden again so that he can get playing time and get starts. And that's what he's going to do over there in Sweden. Also, his potential ability sort of dropped, so I don't know. I don't know what this guy's all about. Also, he wasn't the kind of striker that I wanted. We would have had to train him up at the wings, and this year I'm looking for strikers who can score goals, and he wasn't that guy, so I just panicked and sold him off. Same with Daniel Valente. He got sold to a much better place, though, to France, AJ Auger. And again, he's a striker with 9 finishing and 8 composure. So not exactly my type of dude, but he's only 18 years old. And we sold him off to a very good French team. So hopefully he can get all the training and games and stuff he needs in France. That will be fine. So a lot of loans. Had an interesting time in terms of bringing guys in on transfers. Several free transfers, including Marco Pantaleone, who wasn't technically free because we had to trade for his rights to TFC. We'll look at that in a minute. But in terms of signing him from the Royals are a minor league club, so we could just sign him. We didn't have to buy him. So there we go. This is Pantaleone. He's not looking great right now. His sort of stats are falling off. But he does have 14 finishing, 15 dribbling, 14 pace, 16 flair, 15 teamwork. So I'm hoping he can be a goal scorer for us. We're not messing around this year, trying to find guys who can score goals. And I think Pantaleone might be able to do it, but we're going to give him every opportunity to grow into the role. He's only 20 years old. Then we picked up 3 guys on a free, 3 of our young academy players, and immediately sent them out on loan. Stokic, defensive midfielder, 2 stars. Not a lot of potential, but he could be a solid MLS contributor for us. 14 tackling, decent physicals, decent mentals, good determination at least, and positioning and bravery, so he can be a Terminator for us in the middle of the field. That's fine. Carrasco, 17-year-old right back, 6'5", pretty good physicals. 14 jumping reach is pretty good. He's just got a lot of improvements he needs to do. His determination is up greatly from 1 to 3, so that's an amazing leap. Everything else just needs to get a lot better. He does have 13 tackling, which is helpful, but he was just a guy we signed just to have another body, just to be a project. He's only 17 years old, so if he can grow, good for him. If not, who cares, honestly. Then Milan Eric, one of our top young goalkeepers, brought him in, 2 stars, 13 reflexes, 12 aerial reach, pretty decent physicals, very nice mentals, very good determination, so I'm hoping he can continue to improve. And then we actually had the Super Draft this year. There were several very good-looking Canadian prospects in the Super Draft this year. And so I kept a hold of 4 Super Draft picks, and we made some picks, which is very much unlike us. So first pick on the list, not necessarily our first pick overall, is Florian Roux, 21 years old. Attacking center mid, most likely. He can also play left wing. He can also play midfield a little bit. 2-star guy, 3-star potential. Valued at $1.1 million. Decent guy. Vision, teamwork, flair, passing, technique, first touch, very good all the way around. So for a Super Draft pick, it's no real skin off our nose to draft this guy, so it's fine. And then our actual number 1 pick, the guy that I really looked at and said, okay, I'm going to stay in the draft for this guy, Mike Ross, guy who's been on a couple of under-20 teams, been on 22 apparently, 4 under-20 goals, right winger, 2.5 stars, 3.5 star, maybe even 4.5 star potential. He's got speed, stamina, agility, acceleration. He's very athletic for a right winger. Decent mentals, 15 determinations, good flair and teamwork, and then decent technicals as well. His crossing could be a little better. He's more of a inside forward attacking type midfielder, but he's not terrible at crossing the ball either. So again, Super Draft pick, Canadian player. How could I pass this guy up? He's 21 years old. That means he needs to play almost immediately, but that's fine. We'll find room for Mike Ross. Then we had a couple of late draft picks that didn't really pan out. I don't know if these guys are going to make the team. Lucas Hurd, right winger, USA player. Nice pace and acceleration, good potential. He's actually a pretty decent player, but he's an American. There just weren't any good Canadians left at this point in the draft, so we picked him up. And, he's actually a pretty decent Super Draft player if he was an American. Then Mick Howard, our last pick, 21 years old. We needed a central defender. We needed just a live body, and he was that for us. he might not make the squad when it comes to announcing the MLS roster, so he'll probably get cut at the end of this preseason, so not a lot to worry about here with Mick Howard. Then we had a couple of other transfers. Dario Zanata from Hearts for $38,500, 25-year-old left winger. And he was just kind of hanging out there. He was transfer listed, and he wasn't happy there. He's got $1 million value. He's a decent left winger type guy. Just wanted to bring him in, see what he was all about. It says he's got 4-star potential, so he could possibly improve. His determination is a little low for our squad, so I don't know how long he'll be sticking around with us either. But at $38,000, he was a bargain. And then an even better bargain, free transfer, James Pantami, a name you might remember from some of our early years with the Canadian team. He's got 2 caps for Team Canada. And you know what? Over the seasons, he's improved a little bit. He's still a very average keeper. He does have 16 determination. He is physically very strong, 6'2", 13 reflexes isn't terrible. You know, aerial reach, command of areas. We needed a reserve goalkeeper who wasn't a teenager, and Pantami fit the bill, so no problems there. Then trades. Trades. Of course, we got some wacky trades. So, last year we traded Theo Bear, T-Bear. We traded him to Orlando City, and this year we traded back for T-Bear. Got him back from Orlando City for a second-round pick and $150K in allocation money. Was that a good deal? Was that a good idea? I don't think so. But you know what? He was unhappy. Orlando was unhappy. I didn't like to see the T-Bear unhappy, so I brought him back. And then I sent him out on loan because that's the kind of guy I am. Anyway. So we sold Rocco. Like our starting central defender. Sold him to New York City for $3 million in allocation money and 2 fourth-round draft picks. Was this a good idea? Absolutely not. It was not a good idea. But we've got some young central defenders that we need to move up the ranks. Rocco has sort of reached his peak, so we're going to send him on to New York City, let him be a starter in the MLS, and let him live his life. It's fine. No problems. Then we also sold our other starting defender. Is this a good idea? No, it's not a good idea to sell both your starting defenders. But we did. We sold him to LA Galaxy, of all people. Another bad idea for a first-round pick and a second-round pick. Again, Giguère kind of reached his limit with us, so we're just going to let him live his life and play. Let him go out free into the world and play in MLS. That's fine. So who did we bring in to replace them? Well, we brought in Julian Dunn from Toronto FC. He was wallowing at TFC, but even though he was wallowing, TFC did not want to part with him. So we had to vastly overpay for Julian Dunn. We gave them $3.8 million in allocation money. That's more than we got from Rocco. So Rocco's a much better defender than Dunn, and we overpaid. And then we also gave them $65 in target allocated money, which I never use, and I don't exactly know how to use, even after all these years. So that was no skin off my nose. But then we also gave him 3 second-round picks, which is like ridiculous. 1 second-round pick should have gotten us Julian Dunn. But you know what? We're crazy like that, so we brought him in. And we needed a central defender at that point. Then we gave away an international slot to Houston for $375,000 in allocation money. They overpaid for the international slot, but still, who cares, honestly? And then we gave DC United $65,000 for the rights to Pantami. So Pantami wasn't exactly free. He cost us $65,000. So, I'm not going to say it was an impressive year for transfers. We're just sort of clearing the decks and getting things ready for our next round of players. Let's see. Anything else happening? Not really. Coaching staff is mostly the same. Nothing interesting of note has happened. So let's get to today's matchups, and we'll look at our team a little bit. So match preview, and look who we're playing. We're playing the Phoenix Rising. So we're going to personally scout our brand new affiliate team. We're going to play against some of our youngsters, get them some experience playing against us. So that's fine. We've played Phoenix one time in the past, and we beat them. So I don't remember when that was, but it must have been an early friendly at some point. And there we go. Kickoff. We're playing at the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex in Scottsdale, Arizona. Built in 2017. I told you they had a new stadium. 6,200 capacity. That's pretty good. It's not exactly MLS level, but it is a pretty good level for where they're at. You know, it's pretty good capacity for their level. So it should serve them well in the coming years. And then if they get that boost to jump up to MLS, then they can put together a stadium package some way, somehow. It's only 64 and breezy, so that is a blessing when playing in Arizona. So it should be fine. Let's get to our team selection. So today we're going to go with the number 2 formation. We're going to, try to attack this inferior team and, play our dudes. So it is a friendly, so we got a full bench. Got a lot of our youngsters and such like that on the bench. So we're going to see a lot of those guys playing this season. Should I bring... Nah, we'll bring them in later. We'll bring them in off the bench. So we'll submit the team as it is and go over the starting lineup a little bit. We'll get to the real starting lineup when we do our MLS preview. But for now, this is it. So... let's see. They've got Lamson in goal. There's Haywood. Haywood is playing. Colin is playing on the left. There's Trevez up top. Calistri, Turner. So, they've got all their lone players in there. That's good. Meanwhile, we're going to take a look at Pantami in goal. See what he's got. Got Ahmed and Nerwinski at fullbacks. Nerwinski, this is going to be his last year with the club. If he doesn't sign with Team Canada, like by mid-season probably, we're going to replace him, get rid of him, trade him possibly, or just let his contract run out. Because we've got other fullbacks that would need to be starting in his place. And if he's not going to play for Team Canada, then see you later. Get out. We got Villalba, the young Mexican, still playing him. He's still a pretty good defender. He should be our starting defender, but he's not going to be a starting defender because he's not Canadian. And then Mark Thomas, one of our young Canadian defenders. I'm still not sold on this guy. His potential is dropping. He's down to 3-star potential, but he's still pretty solid looking. He's not improving tremendously, and I'd like to see his improvement rate go up there. Stokic, we looked at him. Academy player, 2 stars. Going to be starting at defensive midfielder. Not starting. Let me back that up. He is not our starter at defensive midfielder. He is our starter for this game at defensive midfielder, and he will probably spend the rest of the season on the bench because he's not very good. Tibert, we've got him in there just because he needs some game time. He's, of course, taking the captain's armband. Adana Jarid, he needs to play. I mean, I've been saying this for 3 seasons. He's 23 years old now. He's got up to 2.5 stars, but he seems to sort of peak. But we haven't given him enough playing time to see what he can do. So it's sort of a catch-22. He's not good enough, but then we don't give him enough playing time to get better. So we're going to try to do that this year. Stankovic on the left-hand side. He's 19 years old. Might send him out on loan just to get some playing time. He's got that speed, of course. He's still a pretty good prospect. He just hasn't reached anything but prospect level yet. He needs to also improve. And then up top, Senior and Hendricks, sort of the old hands when it comes to academy players. Senior is now 19 years old, started with us when he was 16, straight out of the academy. He's been our best goal scorer over the last 2 seasons, so we need to get him more playing time. He's becoming more natural as a target man. He seems to flourish in the target man role. So we'll put him there for now, and we'll team him up with Hendricks, who should be our best goal scorer, but has not been our best goal scorer. He's hardly scored any goals for us, so he needs to improve in that area because he's basically already been supplanted by Pantaleone. It's going to be whoever starts scoring the most goals is going to be our number 1 goal scorer. I don't care who they are. Just score goals. Dressing room. All right. Pep talk. Kickoff. Let's go. So here we are. Beautiful, partly sunny Arizona. 64 degrees. We might be playing a night game. I think about it. Key highlights, that's all we need. All right, that's fine. Yeah, the lights are on, so we're playing a night game. Good idea. Good idea to play a night game in Phoenix or Scottsdale or wherever we're at. Stankovic gets it forward. Hendricks. Tibert Takes a looping shot. Almost goes in. Okay, interesting first highlight. T-Bert with a long shot. So it's going to be an interesting year, especially at defense. Yeah, so it's going to be Dunn and Hakkinen as our starting central defenders. And basically, they need to improve. They need to get better for Team Canada purposes. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to give them all the first team exposure they could possibly want or desire. We have Villalba backing them up, and then maybe bring in another defender if we need one. I don't know that Thomas is necessarily the answer at 19 years old, but he's not terrible. 12 marking, 12 tackling, 10 heading. It's not the worst you ever seen. 14 jumping reach. He is a little weak. His strength has gone up. It was 10 last year. It's up to 11 this year. So it's not like he's not improving. He just could improve a little faster for my liking. All right. Senior gets it forward to Hendricks, and there it is. Senior just makes he's a good playmaker up there for whatever reason as target man. He gets the ball. He's calm with it. He can score himself. He's a scoring threat, but he can also pass it pretty decently. And so here he is making a play, getting Hendricks wide open. He finds the gap and just bangs it through. Not the greatest defense you ever saw from Phoenix. They're playing incredibly narrow defensively, so maybe we should go out wide with it a little bit more, but Stankovic drives one in. And he gets the steal, and he gets the goal. Look at him. That's the sort of stick-to-itiveness we need. Young man, Timoteo is probably going to be our left winger. But there's plenty of time up in the air, up for grabs for Stankovic. Especially if there's an injury. He'll be our number one left winger. And the way that I work, you never know, we could trade Timoteo away again. I'm just crazy. I need like adult supervision while during the off season, just so I don't trade away all my starters. So we're dominating, of course, 11 shots to 1. That's good. 50% possession. Could do a little better there, but we're in the number 2 formation, so we're on attack and taking chances and whatnot. Here we go. 43 minutes. One last highlight. Can we get 3 goals before half? Senior. Another play. Nope. Gets it to T-Bert, though. T-Bert with a tricky little shot. Looked like he put some spin on that one. Crowd appreciated it. Let's take a look at this replay. So Senior avoids one tackle, tries to get it into Hendricks. And yeah, he just left foots that. Lampson probably should have stopped that. But, what does Lampson even look like here? Not good. 1.5 stars, yeah. Get out. 3-0 at halftime. Hendricks, Stankovic, and T-Bert. Good job. Let's make some substitutions. So who do we want to see in there? We want to see our number 1 draft pick, Mike Ross. Get him in there for Reed. Let's see. Pantaleone. We probably want to see him, right? I would assume. Bring him in for Hendricks. And then finally, another youngster that we picked up, Dario Zanata. We'll see him. We'll put him at left wing for Stanky. There we go. Yeah. That's all we really need to see. Pep talk. Very happy. Keep it up. Let's go. No need to drag this out. I should have hit the start second half button. That would have been better. All right. 45 minutes to go. We'll see what some of these new guys have to offer. Let's see, we got a couple of... here we go. Highlight right off the bat. Is Phoenix going to get a highlight? Are they going to come out guns blazing in the second half? Ooh, they almost got the ball stolen there. Okay. Turner, Gonzalez. Here we go. Phoenix across midfield slowly, cautiously. Might say they're probing the defense here. There we go. Nope, turnover. Thomas, nice calm play from the youngster. And now we start back the other way. At some point, we got to bomb it forward. Stokic, Zanata. He's a big-looking dude, number 44 there on the left wing. T-Bert sends it forward. Oh, Pantaleone behind the defense and scores. He's a bit of a little guy. But, you know, if he can make plays like that, who cares? I mean, that was a terrible play by the central defender. But you could say Pantaleone was being a little tricky. Look at him tricking him. Left, right, up, down. Oh, just a bad header. Nice goal. Good pass from T-Bert. And there we go. We get to see our new guy score. Hopefully he can score a lot more of those. Yeah, he's onside. Just an awful header. So take a look at Pantaleone. He is 5'9", 154 pounds, so he's not exactly a big dude. But he's not terribly small. He's decently sized. He just needs to improve. You know, this is that off-season thing where a lot of our guys in the preseason just look terrible in training. Gonzalez sends one in. Pantami makes this big save. Not the most authoritative save, but he made it, and that's what's important, I suppose. You know, the way our goalkeeper situation is... Oh, wait, we got an injury here. We got an injury here. Stokic is injured. So, our only real option is Jonathan Jackson-Amell. He's up to 4 stars now. You know, he's probably going to be a mainstay on the Canadian national team now that we've signed him up. He's only 19 years old. He's probably going to be the future at defensive midfielder for Vancouver as well for as long as we can keep him. And then, you know, there's no reason to keep T-Bert in there. He's got a yellow card. He's old. He's crusty. I guess we'll bring in Colin. Colin's another one of those guys that I just don't know about. He's 20 years old now. He is not improved at all. He looks exactly the same as when he came in here at 18 years old, so I don't know. Or did he come in at 16 years old? He's been here for a long time, and I think I've complained about him every single season. And that's not going to change this season. No, sir. Keep on complaining. Let's see. We got... Who else we got on the bench? We got Carrasco on the bench. He can come in for Nowinski. Mick Howard, our other draft pick, can come in for Villalba. We just sort of get our worst possible team out there. Should we even take Pantami out? Bring in Eric. Yeah, bring in Eric at goalkeeper. How about that? Never do that. I never sub out the goalkeeper, but there we go. Gonna go crazy. So we got young Mr. Eric in goal, 17 years old. Okay. Carrasco, 17 years old. He's improving, so that's good, but he's got a long way to improve, so, you know. But yeah, back to Pantami. Oh, nope. I guess not. Highlight Fernandez. Okay. You know, he was there. Eric was there. The way our goalkeeper situation is with Team Canada, he could easily make his way back into not the starting lineup, but as a reserve. Fernandez. Eric with the same sort of save that Pantami had on the free kick, so I guess, you know, there's not really a ton of difference between those two guys. But Phoenix is starting to get a lot more highlights now that we've taken out some of our starter quality dudes. Fernandez, there's a good defensive play. Ping-pongs around. Zanata gets it. Number 44 in your program sends it forward to Ross, the number 1 draft pick. Not a great cross, my dude. But Zanata does get there eventually. Sends it back. Nope. All right, we're going to reset. Jackson-Amell, he's going to take a shot, and he's going to score. He's going to show you how to do it. You know, he's not exactly what you would call an offensive powerhouse. He's much more of a defensive player. But, you know, he can score a goal against Phoenix, I guess. That's fine. Good win of the header to Ahmed. You know, two of our more veteran guys in the team right now. Even though they're both still like 19 years old. But that counts for a veteran on our team. Jackson Amell, you know, very good marking and tackling. I mean, that's what he's in there for. He's a defensive player. But he also has 17 vision. So if he can get his passing up and his technique up, which is what he's training right now, his technique and passing, if he can get those up, he could be a viable playmaker for us. Here we go. There's a big steal. Nice defensive play by Thomas. Pantaleone is getting a little aggressive, trying to run behind the defense. I think he's a poacher by nature. He's got the ball. What can he do with it? Gets it out wide to Zanata. Oh, well. Full time. I was announcing that for nothing because I wasn't looking at the clock. But anyway, 5-0. It's a good game. Let's see. How did our Phoenix boys play? Haywood, 6.4 before getting subbed out. That's not so good. And then where is Colin? 6.3 before getting subbed out. Not so good. So they got a little experience getting their butts whipped. Very happy. Let's go. So we got Miami FC up next. I don't think we need to show that. It's probably going to be a very similar type contest. But we can take a look at the schedule. So MLS is going to be starting up very soon. We'll come back with the MLS season preview. And then after that, we got a couple of Canadian national friendlies. And then I don't know. We're probably going to take this season by ear and go pretty quickly through this season. Because there's not really any major competitions. We don't need to qualify for World Cup. As far as I know, we should be automatically qualified because it's being hosted in Canada and USA and Mexico. So we should be automatic qualifiers there. So we're going to probably, rush through these next couple of seasons and, try to get to some more important competitions. But until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.